An exclusive tour of the new Porsche Cayenne with Thomas and Autokühl in 4K, full screen, full length. Let's go! Starting here with a completely new front. It's not an all-new platform, but it is the biggest facelift ever for the Cayenne. Therefore, we can easily say new Cayenne. New exterior, new interior, engine updates, suspension updates, everything to come for you right now. Here in the front you can see it's a new grille, completely new design in the lower part, daytime running light right here. Matrix LED is standard, or here the optional HD Matrix LED for even more high beam performance, saving out different spots that the other cars are not being blinded, but you have the best sight. And also, for example, a lighting carpet is possible on the lane on the Autobahn. It also receives here a completely new hood. This color here is Arctic Grey, and this, when you take a look at the side profile, is the Cayenne Coupe. So both, of course, again available, the Coupe with this falling roofline in the rear, or the classic SUV shape. We'll show you both in detail indeed. 20-inch wheels are new from standard, but these ones here are the option 22-inch. So this is then the span 20 to 22-inch. Here with the contrasting yellow brake calipers, they are then the standard 40. You can see it here, the carbon ceramic brakes, as we know at Porsche. I love this spider design, by the way. It always gives me some 90s BBS style vibes, you know. Here we also see that we have the black accentuations around the windows. You can also get chrome ones. It depends then on the design package. We also soon have the Turbo GT for you, the top trim. This one here is the base Cayenne. There's a new vehicle also, the Montego Blue. Very beautiful petrol blue-alike color. And in direct sunlight, it would also be a little bit brighter than it is here than in the studio. Also the base Cayenne, you can see here with the new front. Overall, a cleaner design and also stressing the width of the vehicle. For the side wheel arches, also new parts here overall, either the contrasting black or here painted in vehicle color. You can go for this option. And if you don't have the sport design package, then you can see you have the black contrasting here, but you can also get it in the vehicle color. The length remains at 4.92 meters or 194 inches, no changes there. But basically just this middle area, like the doors and so on, is the only part that has remained the same. There are also changes, for example, for the rear. As for the technology, rear axle steering has been optimized. It turns 3 degrees in the opposite direction than the front wheels. As for the rear design, new light strip going all the way across, and it's also three-dimensional indeed. And also the Porsche lettering on the inside is three-dimensional. You can touch that. That looks and feels so much more premium. Really a great update visually, and also what you can touch or maybe then show off to your friends. Maybe Porsche insiders from you will have noticed also the Cayenne SUV has now the number plate in the lower part, so it moved down. So basically the lower part looks identical to the Cayenne Coupe right now. Very interesting indeed. And here we have this diffuser style in the lower part. All vehicles we have here today have the sports exhaust, and you have these dual pipes right here. Other than that, there would be like a mono pipe, at least the outer tip in the base version. Of course, it also differs from engine to engine. We're soon going to talk about the new engine lineup. And we have more vehicles for you today. I love to show this variation. We had 2x22-inch wheels. These here are 21-inch wheels in an aero styling, because this is also the hybrid model, the e-hybrid. Also with upgraded battery, 26 kilowatt hours now net, so higher capacity and also more pure electric range. Porsche says up to 90 kilometers, but maybe a realistic real-world range would be something 60 kilometers, 40 miles, maybe a little bit more. We have to see about that in the driving part later on. This is the Carrara white vehicle, also fits well, and you can here once again go for chrome frames around the windows, or then here in the sport design package for black. And then you can see that also the vehicle color is matched in the lower part. So which one would you go for from these ones? But yeah, the Turbo GT is coming up right now. Yeah, is it maybe my favorite? Let's find out. But first of all, here once again a look at the rear from the white vehicle. The light strip goes more contrastish right here. So I really love the new rear design. What about you? And here we have the most spectacular version, the Cayenne Turbo GT, standard in the coupe form. a new vehicle color here, Algarve blue, a very dark one, but also very beautiful. And the contrasting neodyme wheels, this golden color. You can also go for different colors if that's too much screaming out for you, 22-inch. Also, this Porsche badge here is an option. I think in this case here, it fits very, very well. It also has parts of the sports lightweight package with carbon fiber roof and also carbon fiber caps here for the side mirrors. AJ and I have been driving this vehicle here already in the pre-facelift version, and we have literally jumped this vehicle here on the racetrack. You should not miss this video and later on. Here towards the rear, we have this separate top spoiler, which adds more to this very aggressive exterior, but still it has some elegance. And in the facelift, also the light strip here around stresses the width of the vehicle and makes it even cooler in the looks. In the lower part, we have the titanium exhaust and this blue inside titanium color. It literally almost glows when it's getting hot. That's also pretty cool. Yeah, I think the facelift also works very well for the top version here, taking on the Lamborghini Urus, for example, with an acceleration figure here of 3.3 seconds to 1 kilometers an hour or 62 miles an hour. But what engine is doing that? Here we have the 4-liter V8 biturbo, now at 659 horsepower. Yeah. It is, of course, also the most expensive model in the lineup, so sales will be relatively limited, but overall Cayenne sales, still 1/3 of all Porsche sales are Porsche Cayenne. Mainly, of course, with the normal engines. So below the Turbo GT, there will be two very strong hybrids coming up, and probably once again a GTS version. Already confirmed is the Cayenne S will receive the V8 in an evolutionary standpoint, and that also is making it available for the European market. The Turbo GT will not be available in the EU anymore, but then again, well, the Cayenne S at least gets the V8 now with 474 horsepower, 4.7 seconds in the acceleration figure. All engines actually will receive power upgrades. The base Cayenne 3-liter V6 with 353 horsepower and 5.7 seconds in the acceleration figure, so only a second slower than the Cayenne S. For most cases, this will be fine. It will still be the best seller. And based on that 3-liter V6, is also the one for the hybrid, here with 470 horsepower and 4.9 seconds in the acceleration figure, so very close to the Cayenne S. And told you about the battery upgrade, 26 kilowatt hours net. You can also recharge it quicker with 11 kilowatt AC onboard charger, then about 2 hours and 18 for the best charging possibility, quickest one. Now the interior coming up, starting again with the Turbo GT. First of all, door closing sound. Really solid, love that, but there's also a soft close available. Ooh, magic. Then inside of the doors, here in the Turbo GT, also probably in the GTS trim again, with the microfiber race text called at Porsche. Horizontal stress everywhere design-wise, also the door handle in race text, and also here at the dashboard, new styling at the side. Then with the new interior, you also get this curved-like screen as seen in the Porsche Taycan. And you have the steering wheel from the Porsche 911, here once again with race text and 12 o'clock marking. But you can also get these race text accentuations or the elements in other Porsche Cayenne models, not only in the Turbo GT. Here also for the seat in the middle, and this is the sportiest and at the same time also most comfortable setup and also most breathable, together with the retro style fabric in the sports lightweight package. That would be the other alternative to go for. So this is then my favorite interior, and the steering wheel just has the greatest grip also in this this microfiber style. And by the way, if you use like slightly wet microfiber towel, you can always refresh that if that would look greasy or something. It's more durable than people think. Yeah, really cool seating position, command driving, good side support. You can literally drive this one on the racetrack, no problem at all. And headroom with 189 or 6'2", that stays the same. A lot of headroom is left. Seat form comparison, by the way, this is the sport seat with integrated head restraint. In the Turbo GT, we've seen it also with the Race X on the inside. In this case here, the 18 ways. In the Turbo GT, it was 8 ways, because this is here 18, then the option. And this is here the comfort seat, in this case then with the 14 ways adjustment. Which one is more comfortable? It depends what you like better. The sport seat cages you in a little bit more, gives you more support, whereas the comfort seat here gives you a little bit more room. But I think the crucial thing is more when you have the sport seat with the race text, the surface is softer and adapts more to the body, whereas the slick surface rather is stiffer. And that is to me a more crucial difference than between sport seat and comfort seat. So I would indeed then still, after testing all three, go for the Racetex sport seat. All new interior of the Cayenne, consisting of 12.6-inch digital instruments, middle part 12.3-inch infotainment system, and optional passenger screen 10.9-inch. And I can't see it from my angle, from my driver's perspective, or just really dark. There's a special foil on it that the driver is not distracted. And Porsche overall calls this now Porsche Driver Experience. Yeah, but it is indeed a mix of Taycan, some old Cayenne style still, and the 911 steering wheel, so best of Porsche, so to speak, this interior. Why did they do this extensive rework? This is supposed to hold until 2030 actually. Wow. Still a classic user interface at the steering wheel here, for example, for the drive mode select. I really like to have that one. So easy to pick the driving modes while driving. Left side volume jog, right side you can control what you see in these new digital instruments. Partially, the steering wheel does block the instruments. That's a problem with the 911 and the Taycan as well. You will have the map in the middle part from the car internal GPS, or map all over the place, or full screen set, and then here the front view camera. You can also change what you want to see left and right. There's a reduced view, for example. And you can also change the styles for the head-up display. Limited, this retro style, or more analog style, I love that. Or here, this with the speed limit. Do we need it in a Porsche? Ah yeah, here we do. One thing I'm undecided about is this brown shaver design shifting lever now behind the steering wheel. Drive mode, reverse. It works. It's also small, nicely integrated, has a great feedback. Also this metal knurling here. But would you prefer a real shifting stick in the middle console? Sorry, I forgot to shave today. The panoramic roof, you can always get that optional. Here, very wide opening, almost SUV convertible feeling. And when you close it, you can also then add the shade when it's really hot. But you can see it already gets way darker when it's closed, because this is insulating against the sun. And here comes the shade. Takes a while, definitely useful when it's really hot and sunny. One of my favorite features is still the analog clock. It just adds so much more class to the interior, even though it's not useful. But not everything has to be useful, it just has to be beautiful. Infotainment system up close, you have this simpler menu structure, and you see it's also faster than before, more responsive. Also, for example, here the car internal GPS, and you always have a link to the vehicle settings, where you can change the different modes and so on here, but that also is done automatically, of course, at the steering wheel. That's an easier solution to switch it. Nice visualizations. And this is the Apple CarPlay or also Android Auto integration, really nicely all over the screen. Oh, and this lower structure here is also really nice decor element, also adds class to the vehicle overall. So I'm happy with the new infotainment actually. And exclusive to the passenger screen is video streaming with different streaming platforms. Amazon Prime and Netflix supposed to be added to that also very soon. That's of course cool then for the passengers, or you can just mirror what the driver is doing and check your G-forces while suffering. Completely new middle console. You slide this one open and then you have two USB-C chargers and also inductive charging pad. And these gaps or holes there, these actually cool the smartphone while charging, because it's a very strong inductive charger. Rear seating area, starting with the Cayenne SUV. Here you can move the rear bench 1/3, 2/3 split to make a longer trunk, or then more or less a legroom. And you have a lot of legroom indeed in the back position here, even if tall people are sitting in the front. Headroom, it really differs on panoramic roof and also SUV or coupe. Here with the panoramic roof to the middle, it's easy, but to the sides, it getting close at 189 or 6'2". The Coupe roofline also falls back, but I would say you can compare the headroom in the Cayenne Coupe versus the SUV with panoramic roof. Most headroom then when you have the SUV and no panoramic roof. But overall, it's a very comfortable seating position here in the rear. It also accounts here for the middle seat. The outer seats is of course always better, but for a middle seat in the vehicle, it is still very well to sit on, just a little bit stiff than from the bolstering, but the space you have is actually quite good. Here in the rear, this is how it looks like when you have the Racetex and also the Cayenne Coupe. So the middle part then, standard, you have this split and then you have two individual seats, but you can also get a through bench for the Cayenne Coupe. Also the rear passengers will profit from this Racetex comfort. Can I sit in the rear of the Cayenne Coupe? Well, headroom wise, you see it does fit. It's getting close because the roofline is falling a little bit, but it still works. And the reason for that is that the rear bench is lower just a little bit. That reduces the comfort also a little bit, so a little bit more comfort and headroom in the normal Cayenne, but it's still absolutely fine. You just cannot move the rear bench. That function is also removed in the Coupe version. And the trunk, very well usable here, 1.40 meters in length and even a little bit more in width. This is here the SUV trunk. You can see you're a little bit more flexible here in the height. Let's compare it to the Coupe. But I have to say, it doesn't make the biggest difference here in the Coupe in the rear. It's more really about the styling. So the disadvantages as for the rear bench and the trunk is not too big. Really, what would you prefer, SUV or Coupe? And what's happening in the hybrid? There you lose a little bit of height. You can see this small step right here, but you can still live with that. So tell me, which Cayenne would you pick? My spec for today would be, I think, yeah, definitely a Thomas Blue exterior color. For example, a new Montego Blue or maybe a brighter blue color. Engine, 3-liter V6 base engine is totally sufficient, is already quick enough, especially since the power upgrade here with the facelift and interior sports seats with Racetex. Well, and then in 2025 we present to you the EV Cayenne, the all-electric on the new platform. Will be available for purchase in 2026, and then for 4 years the electric model and the combustion engine model, we have the lineup here today, they will run on a parallel basis. Very interesting strategy. The same will also happen to the Macan. If you want to see AJ and me launching the Turbo GT on the racetrack, check out this video or maybe check out the recent Macan facelift.